Hello, I'm back after a bout with bronchitis, which you may still be able to hear a little bit in my voice. Hopefully it'll stay clear as long as I read this excerpt. I'm reading an excerpt from Floating Around Hollywood and Other Totally True Tales of Triumph, which you can get at Amazon.com. This one is an excerpt from the chapter They Call Me Walrus Woman. I'm different. It's quite likely you have discerned this already. Most business people have a sixth sense about what is appropriate in certain situations. I possess the same keen insight, but there's a part of me that wants to buck traditional etiquette and be outrageous. Not swing from the chandeliers outrageous, but something real close. I was working as a writer's assistant on Eddie Dodd, a television series which unfortunately never received a proper send-off or chance from the network, dooming it to an early and undeserved cancellation. You probably never heard of it. It was canceled during its second episode before it even had properly informed its audience where it might be found on the dial. We were working during the holiday season. One of a writer's assistant's unwritten duties during Christmas and Hanukkah includes wrapping gifts. Well, we were all dutifully wrapping gifts during a very long, hectic day in between the usual duties required of assistants in a production, and no one was looking overly holiday spirited. I noticed the long faces. I also noticed that several of the longest gift wrap tubes were standing in a corner, empty. There was certainly no expectation of levity in that room, so I went over to the corner, picked up the tubes, crammed the ends of two of them into my mouth, slapped my hands together in front of me, and barked walrus-like several times. Or, or. My comrades fell apart. It was just what they needed. They wanted to get me my own comedy series then and there. Then they decided that when the executive producer Clyde Phillips returned from the set, it would be just what he needed. I said, "Fine, you do it." Jamie, Clyde's strong right arm, said, "Oh no, we could never get away with it. But you could." I was a temp. I considered that. I considered Clyde our executive producer. He was a cool guy with a hit comedy series, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and a great sense of humor. But he was really pretty much all business when he came into the office. He had a lot to do and very little time to get it done, so this was a well-ordered, efficient, no-nonsense place. But I was high on the results of my earlier success with his assistants, and quickly agreed, okay, I'll do it. I sweated bullets as I awaited his return from the stage. I was not noted for this sort of antic at work, not at all. This was extremely unlike me. This was insane, frankly. I chickened out about 7 times, but the others kept telling me how funny it would be, so I recommitted to the task 7 times. At long last, he walked in the door. He was dressed unusually in a very nice business suit, not in his usual jeans and shirt. I reconsidered again. The other assistants looked at me, wondering if this new wrinkle might convince me to drop the great plan. One of them gave me the whirling hand motion indicating, "Come on, it's now or never." I crammed the tubes back into my mouth, walked up behind the immaculately clad Clyde, and barked loudly several times, slapping my hands together. Clyde turned around. He looked at me. He looked skyward. He looked at me again. He shook his head and mused, "It must be the radiation from the computer. Yeah, that's it." And with that, he left the room. The other assistants addressed his cool reaction to my antics with confused, apologetic smiles, and then casually made themselves scarce. I wilted. I was wondering if this had suddenly become my last day of work at Clyde Phillips Productions. I'm leaving this story right there, because this is what is known as the teaser. If you want to know the rest of the story, you need to buy the book, Floating Around Hollywood. You can get it at Amazon.com. The back cover says, "Chris Smith's entertainment industry career reads like a sitcom. What fun." That was A.C. Lyles, producer. DeForest Kelley said, "A fast-paced book filled with laughter, written with comedic skill. It's a delightful read." And Clyde Phillips, who I was just writing you about, wrote, "Of all the books I've ever been quoted in, this is one of them." I hope you get it. I hope you get it for a friend who enjoys humor writing, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. God bless.